I'm starting a new estate today. It is a little bit different, kind of like the other one was. God bless America. It is a partial estate. The family had the mom to pass away a few years ago, and then Dad, I believe, passed away last summer, or last late winter, last spring, whatever. And the family had moved in, that occupies the home now, had moved in to take care of Dad, which is pretty common in a lot of them. But the family was living upstairs and still is living upstairs, and they're going to be moving downstairs and occupying the rest of the home. So I'm just going to liquidate portions of the downstairs. So there's going to be some things, I've already gotten a little start this morning, things that we mark with the family tag. That way I remember. But also, people are very respectful, and they don't try to go past the family tag on things. If there's certain little things that are for sale, you know, we are going to leave them up and displayed like this. It's easier for somebody to see what they would look like in their own home instead of down on a table or something like that. And it makes it available to where the family can just do what they need to, and they can sit in their chairs and all of that and watch their TV. So they're not trying to do it around tables and around Rhonda and around her estate sale company. So, but basically today is fact finding and picture day. I want to take pictures. There's things in here like the table and things like that that the family's going to keep, but then there's other items that they won't be keeping. And the homeowner has been putting things aside, and this is a basic one. A lot of times the estate companies, whether they're here or anywhere else, they only take things that have fine artwork and coins and, you know, things like that. And I just guess I have a different mindset. I figure everybody needs help sometimes, and they need somebody to come and take care of things. And middle-class America is losing parents or downsizing or moving to different situations just like everybody else is. So I come in just like I did on the last one. It was a little bit more upscale area than this is, but this is a quiet little lake community that's been down here a long time, and I've actually done a couple of estates down here, and they were the same type of estate. They were things that people, you know, just use every day. And that's what people buy. And the funny thing about it is, when I have upscale estates, the very first things that sell are the televisions and the housewares. And then they might come along on some of the furniture and things like that, you know. But we've got several rooms that are partially going to be involved, so it's going to be a fun time. And this happens to be a personal friend of mine. She has been in and out of my family and life for a while, actually. I went to a Bible study with her many years ago when our children were little, and hers were even smaller than mine. And got to know her. And then we crossed paths again when I owned my cleaning company. She actually sent in an online application, and I was totally shocked, and I thought, well, I don't even need to interview this lady. I already know her. So she worked for me for several years, one of my best house cleaners and all of that. And so I'm glad to be able to kind of turn it around and flip it around and help her. So we'll see what we get done. Well, I've been at the estate for about, I guess, an hour and a half, something like that. I've been working on the kitchen area. I believe the homeowner has pretty much gotten it to where things are out on the counter that she wants to sell. And then when we get ready for the estate sale on this particular one, since they're still occupying the home, we will just block off any of the cabinets. Use painter's tape or something like that, and put notes on it that it's family. But a lot of this is stuff that's going to be part of our inventory, stocking it out. Like I said, it's just middle-class America. Stuff that we use, stuff that we need, stuff that we collect. I've gone around the kitchen. All of this had, sorry about the light, had plates, collector plates. You see what's important to people as you're going through their things. And I'm kind of a different estate liquidator in that I make my money this way. But I just figure it's a good service to the family. I was raised in a Christian home and proud of that. And we were taught to take care of people, so this is right now, this is the portion of my life where I'm taking care of people's needs on this end of things. So I can be a liaison for them if they really don't get along, which this family pretty much does. All of us have our own opinions. We're all raised. We've all got personalities and things, and when something challenges it, like the death or sickness or something like that of a family member, it can get kind of difficult. So I can be kind of the voice of reason. And I just look at it as a ministry to the family of some sort, I guess. I can just go in and take something that's my expertise, even in a small estate like this one. And I can just go in and just kind of divide and conquer for them where they don't have to do it. They don't have to fuss among themselves. But I took down all the lady's plates. She was a plate collector. Probably just people gave them to her, and if they traveled any, she probably got some. Did a lot of yard selling maybe, you know. But there were a lot of little plates, and of course they're all down today. And it can be difficult for the family to come back in, especially, again, since they're still living here, to see things change, even though they really want them to. But you'll just find little things like the last estate I realized, which I didn't know, but I realized that the man was an insurance agent just by the things that he had in his office upstairs, and I could see that he was involved with one of the local orphanages, again, just because of some things that were in the home. So this is the sunroom, and it's pretty much as is. I mean, things were already taken off the walls, so I had a few things that I took off the walls and pulled them down. We'll probably put some up on tables and things, but people like to feel like they're digging, so I leave it kind of messy. I'm different that way too. I just figure on some things, if it was a high dollar estate or something like that, of course you're gonna tag everything, you're gonna inventory. It's gonna cost a bit more for the homeowner, quite a bit more actually. But in this case, it just needs to look like, you know, Mama left it here and gonna let them shop. Homeowner's dad here at this estate that you need to keep in mind is in middle class America. It's considered the boonies to a lot of people, I'm sure. But he was a war photographer. And I guess it would have been during World War II from the sounds of it and from the pictures and things he might have during some other times. But he traveled probably some with the USO or took pictures with the USO and things like that. So she told me that she had an album. She left that out for me, and a lot of the pictures in here, I've started looking through some of them. They're indicative of the times, which that's kind of cool. I remember those days, climbing up on the old chrome 1960-ish chair. She must have been a tomboy. She had on her holster. But a lot of the older homes, even in this area, not this particular one, but a lot of the homes in this particular area have these phone alcoves where you used to put your phone. And you used to, most of the time, you actually used to leave a chair there or a chair nearby because there were party lines. And so you would sit and talk on the phone on the party line and for hours at a time because you didn't talk to people every single day, so. But I thought that was kind of cool. There's some cool pictures in here, some, you know, of different times, way different times. And then I ran across this. Cool, huh? And yes, these are real photographs. Beautiful lady. Sad loss. And a little further back, there's all different things in here, but there's Jane Russell with the serviceman. Ladies knew how to dress back then. And let's see, what else can we find? The photographer himself, I assume, or a friend. I'll have to clarify that. Bagpiper style kilt. Very cool. Let's see if I can turn it around where you can see. See the sign behind there about the Marines. A lot of the old posters, wouldn't we love to have those posters? Dog in the middle of jewelry. I don't know what that's about. And Miss Russell again, signing autographs. And the man on the left, Robert Mitchum. So it's just a lot of cool things. And again, you find it out in the middle of nowhere. In the middle of nowhere. I wonder if he knew. I'm wrapping it up at the estate for today and probably for this week. I got a lot of photos done today and also the first day that I worked yesterday. And a lot of measurements and things like that on some of the furniture. I'll be running ads starting today for my estate. I usually try to run them about a month to 6 weeks out. 6 weeks is about a perfect time if you've got a really full estate. This one not being full, I can probably just run ads for maybe 3 weeks, something like that, and be just as effective. But anyway, I'm going to run the ads starting today, and so I'll probably start getting some influx of customers. I've got some things that I'm going to put online on OfferUp, and some things that I'm going to auction on eBay and things like that, and I've got plenty of time before the estate. Originally, I was going to do it, this is mid-July, I was going to do it around the 19th of August, but I think I actually will probably be able to do it quite a bit sooner, unless I run into some issues. I'm going to work next week and then make a decision on the date. I don't do a reveal of the address or the date. I just do kind of a teaser ad this weekend. And then next week, after I work a little bit more and have a better grasp of, you know, what weekend I can have it, then I will end up, you know, running the ad with the date in there, but not the address reveal. I do the address reveal at 9 a.m. the day before the sale, and that provides some security for the family. Here, they happen to be here, but still, you'll have people on your property and everything else if they think it's an abandoned house or one that the estate company, you know, has been in and out, but nobody else has. So, but these are a handful of things that I'm going to took pictures of, and then I'm going to take some more dimensions and things like that before I leave. I've got a lady that buys a lot of these little vintage trash cans. It's the little metal. Of course, it'll need some cleanup and stuff, but she buys a lot of those from me. I don't think this one's marked. No. A lot of them are marked. Well, yeah, here it is. American Greetings. I don't know if that's going to focus, but it's American Greetings. Will not focus, but you get it. Let's see. This one has, what date is it? 82. We always have to go back to our Roman numerals on these things and think about it, don't we? I also thought these were kind of cool. It's not anything just dramatically important or anything, obviously. You can see the Kmart sticker on there, and she probably bought them before the Kmarts here in town went out of business. I think all of them are out of business except maybe one that's in way north Memphis. It's in a really bad area, so a lot of people don't shop there anymore. But people either like clowns or they hate clowns, and the ones that like them will pay for them. So we've got these. They're kind of a resin, ceramic-y kind of resin. I got those two, and then this one. So I'll try and sell them in a set. Probably put them on auction, see if I get any action on those. I also ran across this. It's just a little Hallmark pen. I think it's marked 82 if I remember right. I believe that's what it said. Little St. Patty's pen or whatever. A lot of people would throw it into a box. The homeowner might would, or not even try and sell it or whatever, but just throw it into a box and take a quarter for it. And right now they're trending at about $5.99 to $7.99 on eBay on those. Same thing with cards. Any of the decks of cards, like this happens to be a bridge set, Hallmark. I haven't scanned this or anything. I haven't taken the time to scan it yet, but it's got the 2 packs of cards in there. I think these are Hallmark, yeah. These are Hallmark as well. The Merry Mice, I've sold these before. I can usually, and in a state, I'll only get like, you know, around $3 or $4, something like that. We can get upwards to about 10 or 11 for these if we have the right customer to come in that like that kind of thing. Ran into this. These are cute. And again, I don't think anything's going to focus because I'm in really low lighting here. Well, there we go. Metzke, 1979. This is a little pewter. Let's see. Let's see if I can get it down here without getting my hand all in it. And see, it's got the little magnet here. That's what you keep your thimble on. And there's a lot of these. There's a lot of collectors of these. Sewing and sewing notions and craft items, things like that. They're really good sellers at the estates. Really cheap to buy them at the estates a lot of times. And people will come in and they'll buy like a whole fabric room, you know, a whole craft room full of fabric or something like that. But these little things, they run around $7.99 to $15.99. Depends on, you know, which one they are. This is an egg cup holder. Looks like it was probably handmade at some point, or if it was, no, it's manufactured. You can tell by the rings on the bottom. It's manufactured on that. But this little egg cup, little novelties like that will sell. Probably you're looking at maybe a $7 or $8 to $10 item. Depends on the customer. More packs of cards. I pulled these out because I've got some that I'll probably try and sell in a lot, and these will go with the ones that I already own. And I'll just sell them, and then I'll credit them to the estate. That'll help them to sell those. You see that Goodwill sticker on the Tennessee one. $2.99. This, let's see. We got Holly Hobby. That won't focus. Is that a 19? Anyway, it'll probably be early. It'd be late 70s, early 80s on that. But the Holly Hobby still sells. On occasion, we've got people that come in and actually ask for it. So I did find that. What else did I find? More cards. Like I said, you know, just the novelty cards or whatever, like, you know, their regular price on these for the Congress cards was $13.50, so, you know, we ought to be able to get $7 or $8 for the packs anyway. These Coca-Cola ones, limited edition. They're not anything dramatic, but there's something, you know, that a Coca-Cola, you get some crossover posting or whatever, you get the Coca-Cola collector, and then you've got people that collect the playing cards. A couple of Uno games down in here. I haven't checked to see if they're all there, but at least one pack will probably have all the cards. But any of the card games sell. A lot of times I'll sell them if they're my own. I'll sell them in a lot. And I'll have like that and the Monopoly game, the Monopoly card game, and Old Maid and things like that. And they'll usually drive the price up a little bit if you do it in a lot. This is, what brand are you? Oh, this is from Germany. This was marked Germany. Doesn't always mean anything, but sometimes they'll be pretty decent little pieces. A lot of people will use these for match holders on their fireplace, but it's metal. It's a light metal, so it's not going to be anything, you know, like I've discovered the Holy Grail or anything. This is a neat piece. They were using it as a candle holder, but it's not actually a candle holder. It's an essence holder. You would put the essence in here, holy water, you know, they can use things like that. A lot of different uses for this. It's a heavy piece. It's not marked. This is a cute little, it's not a painting. At first I thought it was from across the room. It's not a painting, but it's got real good subject matter. People love stuff like this, so I figured I'd throw that on there. I do a lot of, may end up, before I put it on eBay, I may take a weekend, this weekend or maybe next weekend, and do some of this stuff on a auction on my own Facebook site. I used to do those when I owned my own shop, and I would just put up box deals. Sometimes I would do box deals and things like this, and I would just mark them. And everything that was in the box, people were bidding on whatever they saw. It was like a junk drawer sale or whatever. And then I would have individual things like this, and I would have no reserve. Technically it was no reserve. I had $1. The bids were in increments of $1. And especially if it was something that I just needed to get rid of, I would put a reserve on some of these, because this is on the front end of the auctions or the sales. So this one is Clinton China. I've sold several pieces of it over time. A lot of them are commemorative, or you'll see something, you know, that's kind of kitschy. And, you know, just doodahs. I don't think they're marked on the bottom, no. And, of course, the old sad irons. We always get a lot of these in the South. This one, if I don't hurt myself here. Let's see. Let me pull the camera over, sorry. Oh, it's a Cumberland. I didn't think it was a Brownlee, but it's a Cumberland. Cumberland usually sells pretty well. This one's in good shape. A lot of people use them for door stops. My mama actually used one. She'd put it down in the stove and she'd iron her clothes. And she didn't do that as I got older. She was very modern as I got older. But she did do a little bit of that here and there. So that's just a few things that I pulled aside today. We'll see what happens with them, but I guess I'll head out to my booth. I stocked one yesterday, and so I'll try and stock one today and see if we can get some sales rolling. Good morning. It is day 2 of working on the estate. I figured I would run a couple of errands first. I went by and got my root beer, of course, first. And then I decided, well, I'll cut through this little neighborhood over here. I sell a lot of things that I pull off the road in my business. A lot of times I'll pull things into my van and right into the next estate. I have things in my contract that provide the ability for me to take things in to the estate situation, as long as it's not competitive with what the person already has there. For instance, if I go into a little old lady's house and she doesn't have sports equipment, or she doesn't have, you know, baseball cards or something like that that I think would draw a certain type of buyer, I will pull those things out from my former estates, out of storage, inventory those items, and then when they sell, I'll know that those are my items, you know, that have sold. But it's also helped her in that it's brought a different scale of buyer. For instance, if we have a house that is all mauve and blue and has a lot of little Dollar Tree items in it and doodahs and all of that kind of thing, it's not going to draw a certain type of buyer. So I always like to throw some collectibles in there, some primitives, some of the better home decor pieces, even artwork, you know, things like that that would be unexpected to my buyer, because they don't care where it comes from, they just want to buy it. But I thought I would cut through this little neighborhood. It's not too far from where I live. It's middle class, a lot of rental over here and things like this, but I pull things off the road all the time from over here. I know all of my trash cycles and all of that around here, as I'm sure any good junker does. So I know when they put things out to get picked up the next day. I call this trash dashing. And that's a trademark, so don't mess with it. So, not really. But I call it trash dashing. My grandkids love to go trash dashing with Gigi. They'll point out and they'll just about take me out with their arm, throwing their arm out, saying, "There's a pile over there." No, I don't go through the trash cans. I just look for furniture, old barn wood. I take the hardware off of any furniture that I don't want to liquidate or something like that. But I make quite a bit of money off of the things that's off the road. So I always look through them. I sold, it's probably been about a month ago, something like that. I sold a guitar pick that was a concert pick. It was down in just a box full of really nothing much. I mean, a handful of stuff that I think I put in my antique booth and threw away the rest of it or whatever. But I pulled out this guitar pick that just happened to be down in that box. It was probably somebody emptying a drawer out into the trash. But it was a box that was sitting there, you know, that was open. I pulled that pick out, and it was from Korn, the heavy metal group, and it was actually a concert pick. It was one of the Ouija board style picks, and I just sold it for $15.99 on eBay. So there's always money in that trash dashing. Don't disregard it. I don't. I figured I would come through here real quick and go through a couple of little neighborhoods on the way. Today is probably, I haven't really decided yet. Today is probably try and finish up the breakfast room and maybe a couple of tables put up in the master bedroom, go through some of the drawers and things like that. This is one of those estates that I'm going to pad since it's a partial estate. It's a lot of dated items in the home, you know. That's why the family doesn't want the items. They want to update the house and things like that. And a lot of little doodahs in the house, and you know, you'll get some decent enough money from it. But this would be helpful, you know, to me and to them, for me to bring other items in. So once I get things set up, then I'll bring some other items in, and I should be able to film it, even if it's in a separate film, because it'll be several weeks before we have the actual sale. But I'll film the estate and let you see what happens with it and how it turns out. Doesn't look like much is out today. People probably haven't been cleaning out their garages and things. I love to go in the fall, and I love to go for the solid month after Christmas, because people will clean out everything. It's amazing. Even though it's freezing and at times raining, sleeting and snowing and everything else, they will clean out in January because they just don't have any room anymore. But My favorite neighborhoods to go to are the little lower middle class neighborhoods, really. They're the ones that have moved in and Mama gave them stuff to get started, and they don't like Mama's stuff and they're putting Mama's stuff out, and Mama's stuff is what I'm selling the most of. Stay tuned to see what happens next week. More estate work. Happy junking.